ever noticed how some weapons of TF2 have a cult following surrounding them? Maybe it's because they're meme weapons, or maybe it's because they've got significant upsides and downsides from the stock variant that really would make you have a preference. Either way, one thing that's for true is that whenever you see one of these things, the person holding it is probably going to be pretty religious about using it. This video is a sequel to the original one that you don't have to have watched to watch this one, but if you want to check it out after this one, definitely go ahead. So yeah, same rules apply. We're going to be taking a look at several TF2 weapons that have cult followings surrounding them. The only difference this time is that this is the user comment edition, as I had many comments and many suggestions of weapons that people couldn't believe I missed the first time around. That video was by no means a comprehensive list of every weapon with a cult following, however there were still some that many people were shocked that I didn't include. So yeah, that's where this sequel comes from. Just like last time, we'll be starting with the strongest and working our way down into the more obscure ones later on. We will be going in no particular order, and let's just get started. So, to my surprise, the #1 comment last time was not that I had missed the Ambassador, or wasn't that I had missed Bazingo Bargo, it was that I had missed the Dragon's Fury. I personally did not know this thing had a cult following, but after looking into it across YouTube and Reddit, oh boy it does. The cult following around this weapon seems to stem from the fact that pirates who think they use it are gods amongst men and can aim and are much better than just the WM1s. I don't know, there seems to be a social divide between these people thinking they're better than other pirates because they have to use a flamethrower that requires more skill. And while the Dragon's Fury is incredibly good, I'm personally having more fun using the stock flamethrower, so go off on one I guess. But yeah, that's what this cult retains around. The players who use it think they're incredibly skilled and are much better than every other pirate on Earth. I didn't know this thing had a cult following again, but after I looked into it, I can't believe I missed it the first time. So yeah, definitely, 5 out of 5 cult rating for this one. The Bimbo Bazingo is the one I missed first time around that, in all honesty, I probably should have included. The Balajan Balloonstead is probably the best sniper rifle, and the snipers who use this know it. They are religious about using this thing over any other sniper rifle and have to constantly tell people 24/7 that it's the most powerful one in the game. And while this thing definitely needs a nerf, these players are nowhere near as good as they think they are. Sure, every time you see a sniper rolling the enemy team, he is always using this thing, but that's still the one sniper who succeeds out of every 200 who use this thing who fail. But yes, in all honesty, they're not wrong. This is definitely the best sniper rifle, and it could probably do with some sort of nerf. But yeah, this is one I really should have included the first time around. Very high cult rating again. So just like with last time, we had a joint entry between the crossbow and the Ubisoft, and we're doing that again here with the Ambassador and the Kunai. We've all seen one of these kind of spies right here, and combining that kind of edginess with the Kunai is a match made in heaven. And by heaven, I of course mean hell. Chances are, if you've ever considered using any of these weapons, paints, or hats, you're also using all the others as well. The Kunai Spy is one of a large health pool and one with an even larger ego. This thing is incredibly good in the right hands. However, most of the time, unless paired with the Dead Ringer, you're just going to be dying. The Ambassador is as well. Any spy who picks up the Ambassador instantly thinks they're a god at the game. But these two cult following weapons separately everybody knows about, but together it's a whole other story. In the modern day of TF2, you'll never see these weapons used apart from each other. Maybe it had something to do with the Jungle Inferno nerfs, I'm not too sure, but the Ambassador's shorter headshot range now, combined with the Kunai's incredible abilities, just makes for a very deadly combo. They essentially make up for each other's weaknesses, which is an incredibly powerful thing. But yeah, really try to think to yourself, when was the last time you saw an Ambassador spy using something like the Eurotunnel Ward, or a Kunai spy using the L'Étranger? They don't, they use these weapons together, and that's why again it has another insanely high cult following. Moving down our list from the extremes, the escape plan doesn't necessarily have a cult following, however the people who use it religiously, so it constitutes. It's always the solo Roma soldiers who use this thing, and those are the only types of soldiers you'll ever see ever. The players who use this can't use anything else. They can't use the Market Gardener, and they can't use the disciplinary action. They just have to use this thing because they just can't adjust their playstyle due to muscle memory. For me, I'm a lot like this with the disciplinary action. When I switch off it, I just can't adjust my playstyle. When I see a teammate, I have to switch to my melee and hit them. But yeah, not the strongest cult following in the world, but definitely a religious one. Ah, the Sandwich Heavy. The try-hard Tommy Slavin Gru using heavy main who just refuses to help anyone else but himself. And more often than not, they're in denial that the second banana isn't better. You see, these heavies will always argue that they carry around the sandwich over the second banana because you can throw it as a medium health pack, but then never throw it to anyone and eat it to themselves like a fat bastard. The second banana is just a better lunchbox item. It's the best in the game. because if you're not going to share your sandwich, you might as well have 3 times as many in that time. So yeah, these pricks. Try and avoid them if you can. They're definitely going to yell at you if you're playing Pyro, but overall, they absolutely 100% refer to every single cult stereotype I've ever covered for Heavy. Iron Bomber demo men are an intelligent bunch. The Iron Bomber is just a straight upgrade from stock. Why would you choose rollers over guaranteeing hitting your enemy's feet? The grenade launcher itself has a larger explosion radius, but then again, this just doesn't matter. With the Iron Bomber, you're going to be hitting your enemy more purely because you can shoot at their feet instead of them, and they will walk over it. Again, like the Bazingo Brunkins, this thing could probably do with some sort of nerf as well, but in its current state, it's just a direct upgrade from stock. I am 100% part of this cult, and I can fully get behind these guys. 100%, this is a good cult to be a part of. Now, one of the last ones we're going to cover today is of course the Mad Milk. So these kinds of soldiers and these kind of spies, well, you see, this is the scout equivalent of that. They're going to be running the stock scattergun, they're going to have the Mad Milk, and they usually run the Boston Basher as well. Just like with the others, these guys think they're gods at the game, and they religiously use the Mad Milk only to help themselves. They usually use it to extinguish themselves, even though extinguishing yourself doesn't give it the 20% faster recharge, but they don't care. And the real design purpose of this thing is to be thrown onto the objective so it can sodden many enemies at once, but you'll only ever find these guys using it in 1v1s. So yeah, scouts, Mad Milk scouts, there are a lot of them. You don't often see them, but that's because they're always 1v1ing. And lastly, the last one we're going to look at today is of course the Frontier Justice. Again, much like with the Mad Milk, you might not think this thing has a cult following, however it seems to be, free-to-plays especially, see this as a direct upgrade from stock. Every single free-to-play engineer on the planet is using this thing. And they tell their friends about it as well, because their sentries rack up loads of kills and then they destroy them and then they bring their 32 crits into the middle of the battle. Of course they die and lose them all immediately, but they're still going to be doing it over and over again. And I personally consider this a ritual. Ritual's a big part of cults, and therefore that's why it's on our list. I mean, the Frontier Justice is a very fun weapon, it's just often not effectively utilised very well. But then again, practice makes perfect, and this thing definitely has a cult following to speak of. And that's going to do it for this video. Once again, just like last time, if there are any other cult following weapons you'd like me to cover, please leave them down below in the description. If you want to stick around the next minute or so after my explanations, I've got something really special to show you. But until then, let me just say that I'm currently working with some incredible people on the 2 Fort King of the Hill map. This is something I expressed interest in a while ago, and I've had some amazing people reach out to me and are so willing to help with the creation that I can't believe it. I'm so grateful. Thank you very much. Now, about thanking people properly, I've never really had a single outlet to thank everyone on at the same time, so I thought, well, might as well change that. This will be featured in the next couple of videos, and if it's bad, I'll remove it, so don't worry. Thank you very much, everyone. If you have something you'd be willing to donate, please message me on Steam, and I'd be very grateful. Thank you. Anyway, like I was saying, thanks very much, everyone. Enjoy the outro, and I'll see you later down the sunny road.